I love baseball cards. Got 'em, need 'em, got 'em, need 'em, need 'em, need 'em, got 'em, got 'em, need 'em.
Welcome to another episode of Remember the Great Sports Card Show Pickups video. I don't have a whole lot to show you this month, but we're looking at quality over quantity this month. So I found some pretty amazing deals on some autographed items. I found a graded card that I think is a must-have in almost anybody's collection if they're a baseball fan. So this card show had a lot of odds and ends. And if I had thousands of dollars, I probably would have spent thousands of dollars. But I always try to collect on a budget. I try to stay under $100 when I go to a card show because I just can't spend all my money on on collectibles. So I'm just going to show you some of the cheap items, and we'll kind of work our way up here. So the first items from a booth, I paid $1 a piece, and these aren't anything super special, but this is a Richard Dent rookie card and also a Shaquille O'Neal insert from the 90s. I thought for $1 a piece, that was fair. So I bought those for $2 total from one seller. Now another seller had a quarter box, and this quarter box was quite the deal in my opinion because they had some really good deals in there. And one, I found a Adley Rutschman Donruss Optic rookie, rated rookie. I also found his franchise future. Oh, Adley's not on that one. I'm sorry. That's Heston's franchise future. I found that. But I also found this 1977. 77? Yeah, 77 Topps Willie Stargell. And they were only 25 cents each. So I rounded it out to make it an even dollar. And I grabbed a Jake Berger card that I didn't have. And I've seen Jake Berger many times, so I'm hoping to maybe get that one signed in person sometime if I run into him again. So that was only $1. Now at the same booth where I got these, the seller had a bunch of opened blaster boxes. And the guy was like, I bought all these in bulk. I don't know what's in them. They could be what they say they are, in this case 2020 Bowman, but there might just be something shoved in there. It could be anything. So he's like $2 each. And I'm like, for $2 each, I'll take a quick look at them. So I opened this one up, and the first thing I saw was Evan Carter on top, his rookie card. And I'm like, well, for $2, knowing how big of a prospect he is, that's probably just worth it by itself. So I got home and I opened this up, and this whole box is shelf full, dumped a few of them out there, of 2020 Bowman. So it is what it says it is, and not all of them are rookies, but just to give you an idea, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Evan Carters just by itself in there. Then Foscu's in there. I mean, it's just, I couldn't. Jace Jung is in there, or Josh, I'm sorry, not Jace, his brother Josh. So I mean, I just kind of went through this. I paid $2 for this whole stack. And again, the rookies aren't in there. A lot of them are the major leaguers, like Gleyber Torres, Buster Posey, but still for $2, how can you go wrong? So the second box I bought, just going to put these off to the side, was listed as 2020 Bowman, and that's not what was in there though, because I opened it up and inside were, I guess these might be 2020s, 2020 Bowman inserts. So like the 1990 set and some of the top 100 cards. I mean, the talent pipeline cards were in here. Wander Franco. Even some of the International World Baseball Classic cards were in there. So, I mean, these were basically all the inserts out of the 2020 box. Whoops, and I just knocked them on the floor. But in addition to the 2020 inserts, there was some Topps stuff in there. So, like Rod Carew, I mean, it's just, just fun going through this, looking at some of the, I mean, you just don't get, I mean, look at that. A Ted Williams Diamond King. I mean, how cool is that? Roberto Clemente, a Robin Yount Diamond King, a Ryan Sandberg Diamond King, Mel Ott, Vlad Guerrero Sr. I mean, like I said, just chock full of, modern era cards in this box for just $2. So I guess I should have been a little more greedy and bought a few more, but to be honest with you, I looked through them and I only found what I wanted to find. There was some that didn't really pique my interest. I went back to this table a little bit later in the show, and they were all gone. I think he sold them all, so I was lucky enough to get first dibs, so to speak, on these boxes. So I was happy with the two because this was like the first place I went, and I didn't want to spend all my money in one place because I moved on to some bigger, better deals. Now, this one dealer I worked with twice in the same day. And I went to his booth at first, and then I came back and I bought some more stuff from him. So, the first stop at his table, I picked this up. And again, this is one of those things that I've talked about. If you guys remember my video with Mark McGuire, I talked about how I buy a graded card if I think it's a fair deal and I think it's a decent deal. Well, this is an iconic card to me. I remember pulling this card, this Ichiro rookie, out of that pack way back in 2001. Had no clue who Ichiro was. I knew that he was the new rookie Japan sensation for the Mariners. But you got to remember, this is at the time when we were told so many years before that, guys like Hideki Arabu, guys like Hideki Matsui even. No, I guess Matsui was after Ichiro, but they were going to be the next great big thing. So I remember when Ichiro first came onto the scene, it's like, oh yeah, another Japanese player, like he's, going to really pan out, because at that point, none of them really had. Little did we know. So I've actually had this card in my collection since I pulled it from a pack in 2001. I saw this at the guy's table. He had a $20 price tag on it. And I go back to, you can't get a card graded for $20 anymore. So to get Ichiro's rookie card, being it's his lowest end rookie card, I thought for $20 that was more than fair. Well, as I'm going through his stuff, I pull aside the Ichiro. I'm like, okay, I'm getting that for sure. He has a stack of signed photos sitting on his table. And on that top stack, for $10, is this guy. Lefty himself, Steve Carlton. And you can see the price tag up here for $10. The reason for it is there's a tear up here above his head. But as you can see, the autograph is perfect. Now my hope is that it's not stuck to the frame, because that's really going to suck. Because one of the things that I will recommend to you as an autograph collector is, as much as you want to frame something to display it, it possibly can stick to the glass. So unless you have specialty frames that are made just for autographs, I would highly recommend either finding like an 8x10 soft sleeve to put it in before you frame it, or you put it in something else, or even you make a copy of it and put it in the frame, because you can see that this got damaged because it got stuck to the frame. Now I'm hoping it's not stuck to the frame, but I rolled the dice anyway. So only $10 for Steve Carlton, and while the guy's talking, he's like, well, I got another Steve Carlton if you're interested. And I said, okay, well, what do you got? He pulls this out. A triple jersey Steve Carlton game used autograph card. So I said, wow. So I talked to the guy. I said, well, that's 45. That'd be 50. Well, I got one more thing here. Will you take $50 for all this and one more of your autographs. He's like, yeah, I can do that. So one more of his autographs framed was Silent George Hendrick. Now again, I hope this isn't stuck to the frame. I pray to God that it's not. But I'm going to take them out of the frame and put them in 8x10 holders. But if anybody knows George Hendrick, he is not an easy autograph. George does not like to sign. He's not a real big in-person signer. He never was. Well, I don't want to say never, but, you know, in the modern era, he wasn't a big signer in person. But he told me he bought this collection out. The guy went to all the card shows and got these signed. It's even got the MLB authentication on it, $5. So, for $50, I pulled off 2 Steve Carlton autographs. One's damaged a little bit. A George Hendrick card. And the Ichiro graded card. $50 for all of it. So, as I was going through his booth, I'm going to move these up here. I just don't want them to fall. I saw some other things, and I'm like, heen and hawing, and I'm like, you know, I see some other things I might be interested in, but I want to shop a little bit more. Well, it turned out I didn't shop as much as I thought. And I wound up really zeroing in on this. And he had a $30 price tag on it. This is the same guy I just bought the Carlton and the Ichiro from. And this is a Ferguson Jenkins, Randy Huntley, Ken Holtzman triple autographed card. And none of these 3 guys are real easy autographs to get. I know Kenny Holtzman signs, but he doesn't really sign in a blue Sharpie. He signs an ink pen through the mail, that type of thing. And I looked at this and I'm like, $30? I mean, that is crazy. That's just mad that would be that cheap. And I thought about it and I thought about it. I'm like, you know, I can't get those guys for less than $10. If you guys remember, I just picked up some Ferguson Jenkins autographs a little while back for under $10. Well, this is certified ones. Well, I went through his uncertified cards, and he had an album, and we landed on me finding a couple more things. And I found a Brooks Robinson high grade ×2. So this is the high grade legend set or whatever it's called from back in the 80s or whatever. And they're both signed by Brooks Robinson, and he said he got them in person. And, you know, they look pretty good to me, you know, and as you know, Brooks, you know, does sign through the mail for a fee, but I was able to bundle this together, and finally, I was also able to throw in a Wally Moon autograph, former Rookie of the Year Wally Moon, on the 61 tops, I believe that is. So, talked to the guy, and I said, you got 30 on the Jenkins. And he said he wanted, I think, 10 apiece on the Brooks Robinsons. And I said, can I give you $40 for all of them? And he said yes. So for another $40, I got the Jenkins, Randy Huntley, Holtzman, 2 Brooks Robinsons, and a Wally Moon for another $40. And I thought that was more than fair. So in closing, I spent $90 at this guy's table. And I thought the deals that he gave me for $90 were spectacular. I mean, to get 2 Steve Carlton autograph, you know, a sought-after Ichiro that I've always wanted. I mean, I just couldn't pass the deal up. So, tell me what you guys think of the pickups. I'm going to leave the George off screen here so I don't break it, but you know, a couple dollar autographs there, you know, a couple quarter fines as well. You know, let me know what you think. Again, I felt quality was bigger than quantity this month, but I kept my budget around $100, and look at all this great stuff that I found. Look forward to your comments below, and as always, happy collecting.